Welcome to Up West Sports. My name's Gavin Height. I got Sean Stevens in the house today. We're going to be talking about Middle Georgia State. Let's get it going. Sean, what can you tell us about Middle Georgia State? Where is it at? What conference? What do we got going on?
Gavin, what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on. Excited to see what you do with your platform, and excited to talk Middle Georgia State baseball. We are currently an NAIA program located in South Georgia, and obviously everybody kind of recognizes us as Middle. We're about 3.5 hours north of Jacksonville, about 3 hours north of the state line of Florida, so not too far. So with that being said, yeah, we're in Cochran, Georgia, small town USA, a couple of stoplights, and it is truly a small town feel. But with that being said, it definitely has some things that we can deliver for our student athletes and our student body, and it continues to do that and provide a consistent network of resources for the kids. So with that being said, we are transitioning to the Peach Belt. We're going to move into the Division II, make the Division II move here soon, and excited about that. We've got a 2-year provisional period we're about to enter, and by all means, that's been one of the best things that's happened to our program, in my belief. I think you want to fly with the Eagles, you got to soar, you got to want to soar. So that's exactly what we're doing, and onward and upward, and excited to take on all the challenges and all the new rules and regulations that come with it, and the responsibilities, and just continue to show up for the kids every single day. So it's a lot of good Peach Belt competition out there, a lot of good Division II competition out there. But, one thing that I don't shy away from is recruiting and, being an advocate for all these young men and then obviously the transfer portal, and we'll get into that later. But, the junior college ranks, everything's kind of on autopilot. Just with some bumps in the road right now, but we're excited about the challenges ahead.
Yeah, and honestly, the Peach Belt, as someone who coached at Barton College once upon a time, granted we were in the Conference Carolinas, we would go down and play Flagler and a couple other schools. Peach Belt is no joke. It's a very tough conference, and so props to Middle Georgia State for making that jump. That's gonna be a fun time for you guys. Yeah. You guys are NAIA right now. Have you guys always been NAIA?
We were for the last 10 years. We have been for the last 10 years. And then prior to that, we've been a junior college. We were a junior college. We've had a ton of success. Tip my cap to all the alumni and everybody that laid the foundation. And the last 10 years, every student athlete has come through that has competed at the NAIA level and, made us a perennial regional, powerhouse. And now, like I said, our last year, our last push, our last opportunity, and then we're gonna set our sails towards Division II baseball.
That's awesome. And there's another similar story in the same state. Young Harris, I think, did something very similar to that. And you guys, I just did some quick Google search. I haven't actually been to the town of Cochran, but you guys are in a much better area. You guys are not that far away from Macon. You're not that far away from Jacksonville. You guys are definitely set up for success. Really like where this program is headed. And I'm going to ask you the question that pretty much every student athlete heading into the program is going to ask, and it's definitely around camp day. You're going to get this question a lot around camp day.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the best spots to eat in town? What's the best food? What's the best food in town?
We got DGR's. It's a sleeping giant there in Cochran, and we've got a little cuisine joint that our kids seem to enjoy a lot. We've got a mule barn. If you're a breakfast guy like I am, usually go get a coffee and a sandwich over there. And got Scott's barbecue. And we're 30 minutes from Warner Robins. Warner Robins has it all. So we feel blessed, man. Like we're squashed right in the middle of Warner Robins and North Florida.
That's awesome. Yeah,
So
Warner Robins, great area as well. I forgot to mention
yeah,
that, as well as Macon.
no,
Man, you guys got it all down there. I'm really excited. Well, now kind of getting into your background and everything.
yeah,
You and I met at ABCA back in I want to
yeah.
say 2019, when it was just a madhouse in Nashville. And since then, you've made some different stops. Tell me about your past, where you've come from, and how you got here.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a journey. I'm going into year 8, and yeah, obviously the student athletes and the coaches, and there's been a lot of mentors that have laid the foundation. I came from indie ball, and then decided to jump into the coaching realm. Got a phone call, became basically a third assistant at a small Christian school in Jacksonville, Trinity Baptist College, under John Copeland. And was blessed with the opportunity, and then made a giant step forward and joined Reginald Johnson II's staff over at Edward Waters University, the Edward Waters University. Super proud,
The
man, to have been a part of that program. Love what he's doing with it and continues to grow it, and can't speak highly enough about just the human aspect of those two coaches, and just such different backgrounds, and definitely poured into me. And the good and the bad days, and Reggie was always really good. Not to get go down a rabbit hole here, but Reggie was always really good at kind of I'll rev the engine, man. Like, I love to get out and recruit, love to promote my program. I love to talk about all the good things we're doing. And he would kind of pump the brakes and slow me down a little bit. And a couple years later, man, 5 years later now coaching, like, you look back, hindsight, man, like, thank you, coach. Like, I really needed that. I didn't understand it in the moment, but it was really good for me. And then 3 years later, I departed and joined Keystone College. Built a great relationship with Coach Jamie Shevchik up at Keystone, and was there for 2 years as the PC, and really enjoyed my time there, and the recruiting coordinator, and took the bull by the horns. And he just gave me such freedom within the position, and let me grow as a young, passionate coach. And now here I am, 3 years later, and obviously multiple stints on the summer circuit, and just a wealth of experience, and just really staying hyper focused on the kids. And you win the kids, you'll win the games, and you got to just continue to pour in, and stay a continued lifelong learner. And and like you said, like you alluded to, ABCA in 2019, man, like, I blink and take me back how many years now, and it's like, here we are 6 years, 5, 6 years later,
yeah.
talking on your podcast. And just really excited for you, and really excited for my career, and really excited for the future of our game, and just continue to be an advocate.
Yeah, no, and you've played for or played. You've coached with some really good coaches. I've heard nothing but great things about Shevchik. I've heard nothing but great things, especially from you, from Reggie. Um, I actually did want to pepper in a fun fact. I'm a big fan of The Office. I
Gotcha.
watch it religiously,
Hmm.
and I actually have gotten to the point where I stopped doing trivia because I was so good. Now I'm actually the trivia master or trivia host.
Yeah.
And there's one that I throw in there. No one
Hmm.
never gets this.
Mm.
So, and I know you probably know where I'm going with this. So,
Right.
uh, Erin O'Hannon, Erin Hannon, she's at the front receptionist. Well, she has a pennant of a college right on there. And as soon as I move my
Man.
hands, it always does that. So you're going to get a close up of my face for the rest of this time. Um,
Okay.
she
All
actually has
right.
a pennant of a college.
Okay.
And it's the question that I always throw. Hey, name that college. A lot of people say
Wow.
Immaculata or some
Yeah.
other ones. And I'm like, nope, it's actually Keystone College.
Get
So a little
out of
fun
here.
fact.
Never
Yeah.
knew that.
If it's as soon as the new receptionist, Aaron, takes over,
Yeah.
you'll see it. It just kind of flashes in there. But I'm like, hey, they did their research in this show. They got
Yeah.
Keystone College in there. Give them a shout out.
Good to know.
Um, yeah,
Go Giants.
uh, yeah. So, and you came here in, was it 2023?
I came to middle, yes, in 2023.
2023. And how did last year end up going for you guys?
25 and 24. Shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times. Couldn't close out ball games. Offense battled their tails off, and just from an overall standpoint. We just have to look forward and and just utilize some of the experience that we have from last year. And we had to really hit the road. We really had to recruit and just had to recruit and continue to recruit. And we brought in 20 plus dudes, and not to get ahead of you here, but it was a great experience, a learning experience, but it's also a feeling that I don't want to have again.
Yeah, no, and honestly, to everybody listening out there, I've known Sean long enough to know he does an excellent job of recruiting. And so just being here on the second year, I mean, we've all had those coaches that we worked for, like you had mentioned with Reggie and with Chev. I was blessed to be able to work with, Jim Chester over at Gardner Webb.
Mm-hmm.
The first year he was there, I think they won like 13 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to do kind of a little bit of a roster overhaul. It just kind of, it's the nature of the business. No offense to anybody that has to, pick up and move, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just the kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And then we ended up turning into a 30 plus win team.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it's to be excited about this year is probably an understatement, and what you guys had to do and get ready for this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of bleeding into the next one. Who are the players that we need to pay attention to this year?
Well, I mean, we definitely have a couple guys we're really excited about. Isaiah Espiritu Santo, 6'4" lefty from UTPB that transferred in. Pretty good looking arm, had a really solid fall. Sprays the ball well, spins it well. Can dump the change up, and he's a guy that we're really excited to see spread his wings. He's had a challenging 3-year college career, this 4th year of eligibility. So we're hoping, the best is what's ahead. And got a couple of guys, man, that are just really intriguing. We went out and signed them. From the arm side, we obviously revamped the rotation. Got 3 brand new starters, that we're really excited about. All have experience, leading with Isaiah and Andrew Dye and Kenny Miller. We got Chipola transfer and Steven Sams. That's going to add a ton of value. Went out and signed Voorhees's number 1, David Johnson, very intriguing arm. Just retweeted his post the other day, up to 95 last summer. Good looking arm, man. Like, kid can really pitch. And, you just learn so quick, and not diving so deep into the pitching side. I never talk about the hitting side, but how mental pitching is. As much as we want to try and run away from, building leaders and taking ownership and building processes, and it just truly is between the ears when it comes to high level pitching and instant feedback, and just kind of regurgitating all the things that you learned and applying them, and being your own best coach. So something that Jamie actually taught me a couple years ago. With that being said, on the offensive side, we've got an exciting freshman, Seve Fernandez, that I hope and pray when he comes back from this hamstring strain that he's able to break in somewhere. Kid's worked his tail off, never takes a rep off, and he's got a V12 underneath the hood. Got a transfer in center field, Tionas Pimentel, hit over 350 at Connor State last year. Played 56 games, scored 65 runs. I mean, that kind of tells the tale right there. He's just a really good player. He's coming off 1 year of experience. He's going to be fun to watch run around out there in center field. We're littered with seniors. I mean, we've got a senior at first, senior at second, senior at short, 2 seniors at third, seniors in the corners, and then on the bump, like I said, we revamped and reloaded. We've got to feel good about where we are. Now it's just about going out and gelling, competing. And, like every coach is saying right now in the country, like, it's early, man. I want to see how we respond to adversity and how we respond after a loss. Do we get closer and prepare and, and kind of dig down and, find that next gear, or do we fold, So I think every coach is discovering that. And in my opinion, that's what the weight room's for. That's what preparation's for. That's why we evaluate as much as we do. As a college coach right now, you have to evaluate day to day. You have to, because you're you're evaluating character and grit and determination and love for the game. And, it's just, as a coach, it just becomes so much more of than a job when you're building relationships with these kids, getting to know them, and what they're battling through, and you want to see them succeed, but you also can't drive you can't drive the car. You can't drive the
Yeah.
Lamborghini, they got to turn the key, they got to press the gas.
You can take a horse to water, right? And man, it is tough for people that aren't involved in baseball, for people that aren't involved at the college level. It's tough to know, especially from the coaching side, what guys are going to do when they go home for Christmas break, because you come back and you got a month, sometimes even less than a month. And you got game one in most places. It's still cold out, even in Georgia. I'm sure it ain't 90.
It snowed last week.
Yeah, it snowed. So that's what we got to look forward to and everything, as you get into the season. It's always tough to, it's trust. It really is trust, but you come back and you really got to get after it again. And I'm hoping that you guys were able to see that adversity as soon as you guys came back, felt like everybody was on a good wavelength, and that you pick up right where you left off. So, with that being said, what big games you guys got coming up this year? What's the big opponents on the schedule?
Yeah, we open up with Spartanburg Methodist. We're excited. They're a brand new NAIA opponent. Obviously, we'll only see them this year. And then we open up with Bruton Parker. Basically like a little invitational, a little early season invitational. Excited. We got Georgia Gwinnett on the weekend. I think that's definitely something a little different versus the weekday. We split with them last year, and got a couple. I mean, obviously our conference is loaded. William Carey, Faulkner, Point. So we've got we played Columbus State this year twice, once at their place, once at our place. So excited about that. We're definitely testing the waters and trying to see if I'm on the right path as far as the guys that we have, the competition level we want to play at, and then the type of human being that we're bringing in. So those are some big ones for us.
That's awesome. And I kind of glossed over one. I wanted to touch back on it. Is your roster, is it based mainly out of Georgia, or you guys got a good bit of everywhere?
We're all over the place.
Love that. I want that more in baseball. I did that with Gene at Cleveland. We were trying to get as many states as we could and just get the best talent, because you're going to find talent everywhere. You're coming up from Pennsylvania. You're going to find a lot of good players that just if they had warmer weather and were able to play more times of the year, they're going to be good. So
I do want to highlight. I do want to highlight three more guys, just because I'm excited for these guys, and I know the journey is extremely tested. And Jose Vargas, our switch hitting shortstop that transferred in from Grambling State, really excited about him too. And and we were lucky enough to land two pretty special freshmen. We've got the number 2 and the number 5 freshmen in the nation, according to PG. So number 2 was a USF Deco, and then number 5 just out of the sky ended up sending me an email. One thing led to another, and now he's on campus, and he is an absolute dog. He's going to be a heck of an arm for us this year, and his competitive nature is second to none. And along with number 2, I won't call any names out, because they're competing. They both want to be number 1. And so I love that, and I love what we're creating and what we're building. I think they can smell it, they know it, and adding those 2 inexperienced freshmen with so much ability to the mix makes us that much more dangerous. And then you get them around guys that are low to mid type arms, and those guys start hunting that metric, and that's an exciting environment to create. You can't recreate that at home in your barn. You can't recreate that in your little your little facility back home with 2 12-year-olds and a 16-year-old in there. Like, you got to be around our dudes in order to really compete the way that is going to push you the way that you need to. So it's controlled, but it's environment based. And it's good
100%
for freshmen.
Yeah, no, the environment, and that's what makes you can get the best players in
Yeah.
the nation, and yeah, you might win, but without the environment that you create and that you
Yeah.
harness, yeah, you're not going to go as far as you probably want to go,
Yeah.
and you see it at the highest levels. You see, you know, take a look at the Dodgers. If they don't win the World Series this year, something's going on inside because
Yeah.
they have the absolute most in the world.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I love what you guys are doing down there. And the fact that
Appreciate
you
that.
got a couple top ranked PG guys. I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, I don't know if I said it before. Sean Stevens can recruit, and there's some good players coming into
Appreciate
Middle
that.
Georgia State. With that being said, you know,
Yeah.
looking forward past this year for next year, the
Yeah.
recruits that you got coming in for next year. I know it's still early, but you know,
Yeah.
were there any early signs? Anybody that you're really pumped up about for next year?
Yeah, there are, man. There's three special freshmen that we're pretty fired up about. You know, and that includes all 11. I don't want to do those guys any injustice. I'm just from a class standpoint, from a talent standpoint, from an output standpoint, maybe even an immediate impact standpoint. Um, Landon Parrish, lefty, two-way, really special. You know, good-looking young man. Played for East Cobb national team. Expect him to be, you know, a very high caliber type player, premium type player, corner, and you know, should be somewhere between, you know, upper sevens to zero plus. So we'll see what that arm looks like when it gets onto campus. But very excited about Landon. We have Alonzo Rodriguez, a 6'1", 6'2" catcher, versatile, can really play it in the corner outfield. He's a 181 pop, power arm behind the dish. Really like the wiry frame and really like what he can do, what he can do on the baseball field. We got there's actually two more. Sorry, Dayton
No,
Taylor,
run it.
left-handed bat. You know, got some interest from some P4s early and ended up, you know, kind of losing interest and just, you know, college baseball, man. It's the way it's trickling down right now. And now, you know, Dayton was available and we got lucky and snagged him. And man, there's some real pull side pop in the bat, and he showcases the ability to hit to all fields. And he's a good looking little frame. He's a middle. So we're really excited the way he moves and his future. And then Colin Tavares out of Texas has been up to 93. You know, and that type of freshman arm is unique. It's special. It's a guy that steps on you know, steps foot on campus, and we believe he could play an immediate role as long as, you know, as long as he fills it up like we know that he can. He came to our camp, and you know, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that sounds. You got quite a squad coming in, and guys that are running it up above 90. I remember when I was in college, if you had three guys above 90, you were
Yeah, I
good.
know.
Yeah, three guys above 90, and
Yeah,
now you're getting a whole staff of everybody 90 plus, touching fives, sixes, and sevens. That's awesome. And NAIA baseball is for a lot of different reasons is
yeah,
just overlooked,
yeah,
and there's so much good talent,
yeah,
especially you know down there where you guys are at in that area. You know, you got Tennessee Wesleyan, Georgia
yeah,
Gwinnett.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to take off and play those teams and have those games,
yeah,
especially with the class you have coming in, with you know, with who you have right now, senior loaded class. Excited for them to take the field for their last year. I still
yeah.
remember what that was like for me. So, yeah, you guys are going to get a good send off this year for your senior class. I know it. I have a good feeling that Middle Georgia State's going to end up doing all right.
Appreciate that.
So, you know, with the season, you know, tapping, have you guys already played? Do you guys have a game coming up soon?
We open up on the 31st at
31st.
against Spartanburg Methodist at home.
Right on.
Yeah.
And just, you know, for everybody to want to watch these games, you know, how can they watch these games?
So we have a streaming service. You'll see a link on our website, and you'll be able to click it and access our games.
Perfect.
Yeah,
And then for any prospective student athletes, you
yeah,
know, how are they able to kind of get in touch with you? What's the best way to get seen? Is it coming to camps? You know, what does
yeah.
that contact look like?
Yeah, our next camp's going to be in May. It'll probably be in mid to early May. So keep an eye out on that. And then the other excellent way to get in touch with me would definitely be through Twitter. You know, send me video footage, communicate with me, build a relationship. find a way to get to campus any way possible. You know, if you're aspiring to play, you know, at Middle Georgia, you know, I would definitely say, you know, having the ability to play not only at a high level, but check the grades box, you know, be able to be a great student first and then athlete second. But like any program, man, we're looking for the best players that we can get our hands on. You know, I'm just a big believer in 24s, 25s, and 26s, kind of staying with my feet present on the ground with these kids and staying, you know, staying rooting for them. You know, I want to see him
Yeah.
find a home. You know, if I could sign them all, I would, but you know, that's obviously not the route we can take. So, you know, you have to continue to work. You got to stay hungry in the gym. You know, a lot of these guys are getting private coaches and, you know, and hitting instructors and, you know, which I think is fantastic. I think a lot of the low hanging fruits are left in the weight training facility, you know, and really getting after it and having an approach in there and being a little more position specific with your training, and then applying a lot of the things that you're working on in there on the field. And then obviously the mobility aspect, like guys are so, you know, guys are so limited when they come to us, you know, to our camps. Like they're not plus movers, and that's important to us. Like we want a guy that can come in. He's either, you know, he's mobile or, you know, he's stiff, you know, and if there's obviously tweeners, but there's guys that, you know, are going to take some work. And that could be the difference, you know, between, you know, 2 to 3 miles an hour, you know. So it's just, there's a lot that goes into it. It's a constant evaluation. Getting to the camp as a 26, you know, this past year was huge for a couple of young players. And so I would say that would definitely be the route. Not everybody's playing at LSU. Not everybody's playing at Florida. You know, and then the next best opportunity is definitely when you get into a JUCO, you know, and let's say you don't have the year that you want, definitely get out on the summer circuit, build relationships with coaches, showcase what you can do. And I promise we're watching.
Yeah. And to speak a little bit on that transfer portal situation, I mean, you see it at the top, unless you're like a top 100 guy, most
Right.
P4s are kind of, they have their hands full,
Yeah.
especially with the roster changes. I know it's going, I believe it's at 38 in the fall. That'll
Yeah.
probably change again. They're just changing
Yeah.
every year now. Well, I mean, the places to go right now are Middle Georgia State, and go and win and do it that way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and coming from a former recruiting coordinator, if I can tap in a little bit on that, I'll
Yeah.
just say coaches want to hear from you, not from your mom, not from your dad. It's nice to have a coach speak on your behalf, but at the end of the day, we got to know who we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So craft an email, not just a, "Hey coach, what's up? I throw 90." That doesn't cut it anymore. Craft a
Yeah.
genuine email
Yeah.
and reach out to Coach Stevens and let him know your grades. You know, have the you know, the checks or the boxes checked, if
Yeah.
you will. But yeah, Sean, I can't thank you enough for being on the podcast. It's still small, but growing. And Middle Georgia State's about to go off this year. I know it. And yeah, thank you again for being here.
Much appreciated, man. I'm looking forward to your continued success, and definitely keep in touch.
I appreciate it.
You got it,
For
Gavin.
Up West Sports, I'm Gavin Height. We got Sean Stevens here. Take it easy.